Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Je suis cher diplômé en premier, mais également chers collègues, chères familles, mesdames, messieurs. En tant que directeur général d'IAelyon, je suis sincèrement désolé qu'on ne puisse pas vous accueillir aujourd'hui dans nos locaux d'IAelyon pour faire une cérémonie de remise en présentiel, bien évidemment, mais je suis par ailleurs ravi d'intervenir à distance pour ce temps essentiel qui clôture pour vous 3 années d'études et donc avec la production de votre thèse de DBA. Je suis particulièrement heureux de ce partenariat qui a été mis en place il y a 7 ans entre l'IAelyon et le Business Science Institute pour le développement de cet Executive Doctorate in Business Administration, un diplôme dont la notoriété n'a cessé de croître au fil des années et qui a reçu en décembre dernier une consécration avec la prestigieuse accréditation internationale en bas pour une durée de 3 ans. À ce titre, je tiens à féliciter chaleureusement notre collègue Michel Kalika pour l'obtention de ce label. Michel est évidemment un infatigable ambassadeur de ce diplôme très particulier, à haute valeur ajoutée pour les organisations, et qui vient compléter l'offre de formation destinée aux managers qui est proposée par notre école universitaire de management depuis plus de 60 ans. L'obtention de ce DBA marque une nouvelle étape dans votre parcours, mais aussi l'aboutissement d'une belle aventure collective. Pour vous accompagner dans votre réussite, des équipes se sont mobilisées. Je remercie donc très chaleureusement à nouveau Michel Kalika, mais aussi Marie-Christine Chalut-Sauvanet, qui est la coordonnatrice du programme, et tous vos enseignants, dont une bonne dizaine viennent en fait de l'IAelyon, et ces enseignants qui ont su vous accompagner au cours de ces 3 dernières années. À ce sujet, je souhaite vous rappeler que l'IAelyon reste à vos côtés et vous invite à rejoindre l'association des diplômés IAelyon Alumni, qui fédère l'ensemble des diplômés de notre école depuis 2012. Je ne veux pas tenir la parole trop longtemps, mais évidemment, je ne peux terminer sans vous féliciter tous très chaleureusement, chers diplômés, et je vous souhaite évidemment tout le succès que vous méritez dans la poursuite de votre vie personnelle et professionnelle. Je vous remercie de votre attention et je vais céder la parole à mon collègue Anas Nidam, qui est donc le directeur adjoint chargé des relations internationales de l'IAelyon.
Merci, monsieur le directeur général, monsieur le président, messieurs les professeurs, mes chers collègues, chers diplômés, mesdames et messieurs. À mon tour de vous souhaiter la bienvenue à cette remise de diplôme de l'IAelyon, organisée conjointement avec BSI, partenaire dont nous sommes assez fiers et avec qui nous travaillons depuis quelques années d'une manière assez assidue. Je tiens tout d'abord à vous féliciter très chaleureusement pour votre beau parcours et pour votre investissement au cours de ces 3 dernières années. Nous sommes très fiers de collaborer avec le Business Science Institute dans le cadre de ce programme prestigieux et à forte dimension internationale. Le professeur Kalika le sait très bien, nous avons toujours cru au potentiel de cette collaboration et nous sommes très satisfaits de son déploiement à l'international d'une manière assez importante et soutenue lors de ces 3 dernières années. L'international, justement, fait partie intégrante de notre école et nous nous réjouissons donc aujourd'hui de diplômer une promotion comme la vôtre qui ne compte pas moins de 14 nationalités. Comme vous le savez, le programme est organisé en face-à-face et à distance en français, en anglais et en allemand. Il compte actuellement près de 200 doctorants managers venus de 43 pays différents. C'est une réalisation dont nous sommes fiers et je pense unique en son genre dans le monde de l'enseignement supérieur. Des groupes sont organisés en Europe, en Afrique, en Asie et récemment à Shanghai où le groupe est piloté par notre collègue Kian Goudarzi, professeur à l'IAelyon. Je tiens également à saluer l'obtention en décembre dernier, comme vient de le faire monsieur le directeur général de l'IAelyon, de la prestigieuse accréditation en bas qui vient reconnaître une fois de plus la grande qualité de votre parcours. BSI fait désormais partie des 11 écoles et universités accréditées par cette prestigieuse certification pour leur programme de DBA et vous pouvez en tirer une grande fierté. Cela s'insère parfaitement également dans la stratégie de notre école et la présence de Michel Kalika dans notre International Advisory Board nous a encouragés et nous soutient également en fait dans notre orientation en matière de certification. On en a parlé pas plus tard que la semaine dernière. Je pourrais terminer ce petit mot en vous félicitant bien évidemment encore une fois, mais surtout en remerciant donc la nouvelle responsable pédagogique de ce programme, ma collègue Marie-Christine Chalut-Sauvanet, pour tout son investissement à nos côtés pour la réussite de cette collaboration. Et un grand merci également à la personne avec qui je travaille en toute confiance dans le cadre du pôle international de l'IE, Mathilde, qui est à mes côtés, qui a bien œuvré à l'organisation de cette cérémonie et surtout pour tout ce qu'elle fait, que ce soit au niveau international et pour le programme en fait, dont nous parlons aujourd'hui. Encore une fois, recevez toutes mes félicitations pour l'obtention de ce diplôme d'excellence et tous mes souhaits de réussite pour la poursuite de ce beau parcours. Merci à tous.
So, I'm very happy to be here today with you, our PhD students. It's such a special moment, and I hope you really enjoy it. You know that we are a big university with a lot of students, and even if the COVID-19 is not an easy period, we really want to take care about you. We have a strong partnership with the Business Science Institute, and it's really important for us. I would like to thank my direction, Christian Varina and Anas Nidam, because they are really committed for this diploma. And I would like to thank also Professor Michel Kalika and the Business Science Institute team, especially Frederic. And a special thanks also for Mathilde Desplanques, she is here. And she joined us a few months ago, and she did a very good job. So thank you very much, Mathilde. We are very happy that you'll be here with us. So dear PhD, it's always with a lot of emotions to see your achievement today. I'm proud of you. You managed to work in company, and in the same time, you manage an intense scientific work. You are a practitioner, and now you are a practitioner with scientific capacities. And it's really a great job that you have made. So you did it, really. And again, I'm really proud of you. So I give the floor to Professor Kalika.
Thank you, Professor Chalut-Sauvanet. Dear Doctor in Business Administration, dear Professor and colleague, dear Director General and Vice Dean, of course, dear participant. You are numerous today online. My first words, of course, are to congratulate the new doctor in business administration from the joint program Business Science Institute and iaelyon School of Management from the University of Lyon 3. The degree you receive today after the one you received previously from the Business Science Institute, online in 2020 and face-to-face in 2019 at Ville's Castle, this degree from the University of Lyon, signed by the President of the University of Lyon 3 and by the Director General of iaelyon, this degree is the result of your work. And you know, you work a lot to obtain this degree. And as you know, this degree is an important recognition, an important international recognition. For me, as president of Business Science Institute, it's only one of the aims of the DBA process. The second one, as you know, is to create impact based on your research work. And when I talk about impact of the DBA, I am thinking not only On academic impact, some of the DBA students and some of the doctors publish articles in academic journals. I am thinking about managerial and societal impact. It means that I encourage you to publish. I encourage you to disseminate your results through books, through articles in professional journals, and through conferences. So the work is not finished. I need also, of course, to thank all your supervisors. Without them, of course, no supervision, no thesis, no degree, no DBA without faculty. Thank you to all of them. And I am very glad to see that all of those who could be available today are available online. Finally, I must say that I'm very happy about this ceremony in the University of Lyon 3. It's a personal reason, and you will understand. I will no more receive anxious email from the students asking about the reality of the partnership between Business Science Institute and IAE Lyon School of Management of the University of Lyon 3. That's very important, of course, for the present and for the future. I must say also a huge thank to the new team of IAE Lyon in charge of the partnership. I mean, Mathilde Desplan and Professor Chalut-Sauvanet, for the effort they made to improve our administrative collaboration. Of course, thank you to Frédéric Branger of the Business Science Institute. Professor Chalut-Sauvanet, I give you the floor, and I hope that we will be very soon in Lyon to share some of your cakes and drink some wine of your region.
I hope to, Professor Kalika. But before, I would like to give the floor to Professor Barthelrady, because it's a special year. We have the first diplomation for the German group. So I don't know if Professor Barthelrady is online.
I'm here.
Would you like to say some few words?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everybody, and congratulations, of course, to all of the doctors. It's maybe some words why it is a special year. So I'm coordinating the DBA programs in German of the Business Science Institute, and this is the first cohort of a German-speaking degree that has graduated last September. So congratulations to all of you. You are seven doctors from this first cohort that was located in Luxembourg. And I think you set up a record that will be very difficult to be overpassed by another cohort, because you were 7 to start 3 years earlier, so in 2017, and all the 7 of you earned their degree in last September. So really congratulations. And well, since then other cohorts in German have continued. We also opened an online program in German last year, and well, there might be many other ones to follow you. And among this cohort, some of you are from Germany and some of you are from Luxembourg, and so you're not all German, of course, but not all Germans, but Germans are the first nationality among the students, and maybe not among those who already earned their degree. Michelle Kalika, I'm not sure about that, but among the students, you are the most numerous ones. So herzlichen Glückwunsch und alles Gute. Thank you. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Professor Bartel-Raduc, for these words. So now I'm going to give the floor to the first thesis director. It's Professor Jessie Palu. So would you please present your PhD?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. So I was the PhD advisor of Mr. Bardi. The objective of his PhD thesis was to understand the role played by information and communication technologies in strategic meetings. So he had several research questions dealing with the changes that ICTs and especially video and web conferencing brought to strategic meetings. He also was interested by the perceptions and emotional reactions that employees experience with these communication tools during their meetings. And finally, he was also interested in studying how ICTs can reduce the ambiguity and the uncertainty in communication. To answer those research questions, Mr. Bardi relied on the media richness theory from Daft and Engel, and also the Napoleon theory from Sharkey and Kalika. So this was the theoretical background. Regarding the methodology, Mr. Bardi conducted his study at the African Development Bank, where he works as Chief Conference and Meetings Technology and Infrastructure Officer. Mr. Bardi adopted an interpretivist paradigm with two qualitative methodologies. The first one was participant observation. So Mr. Bardi observed for more than 6 months different meetings that were held at the ADB. So there was face-to-face meetings, but also hybrid meetings. And from March 2020, this was only strictly virtual meetings. So he used the interaction process analysis from Beck and Keaton to examine how people interact during these meetings with technologies. His second methodology was based on questionnaires with open questions, and he sent them to expert and board members of the bank. His findings from his thesis, they answer different business issues that Mr. Bardi noted from his work experience at ADB. In the past, the board members and the staff, they were quite resistant regarding ICT. His findings show the contributions of these technologies, how employees slowly changed their perceptions regarding the technologies. They are cost and time saving, they provide efficiency, they give access to experts all over the world, and they also reduce ambiguity and equivocality. Based on those results, Mr. Bardi provides operational and strategic recommendations for organizations that also use ICT during their meetings, such as IT charter, recording sessions, providing the right technology. So overall, I am very pleased to see Mr. Bardi being awarded the title of Doctor of Philosophy today. He is an excellent example of perseverance and tenacity. The year 2020 was very busy for him as he had to supervise the web conference system and architecture, but he really managed to finish the thesis, and I would like to commend his determination and commitment. So congratulations, Mr. Bardi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations. Just before to continue, I just want to let you know that at the end of this session, we're going to take a picture. So if everybody could stay on the session of online, it's going to be a good idea because we want to have you all on the picture. So next PhD, it's Professor André Reuter. I'll let you continue. Professeur Reuter?
Oui, je suis là.
Move the slide.
Il n'y a pas de slide d'entrée encore.
Ah, sorry.
Maintenant, j'ai Michel.
Okay.
Okay.
Ah.
Perfect.
Very good. Yes, hello from Luxembourg. I would
prefer to speak in German or in Luxembourgish because we have all been teaching in German and Luxembourg. And I had not the chance to learn English because in my days we had to study Greek and Latin, and English was not on our program. But nevertheless, let me give you some information about the work of Markus Bäumer. He wrote about the title, What Matters to Investment Professionals in Their Decision-Making Process, the Role of Soft Factors in Stock Selection. Markus Bäumer deals with the fact that in the last year, much effort has been made to understand what factors affect stock prices. And there are still strong movements and effects in the equity markets that are difficult, even impossible to measure and to explain. These factors require interpretation, but there are only very few studies on the importance of so-called soft factors, and the databases is even more poor. Markus Bäumer shows in his qualitative empirical analysis for his thesis that conviction and reputation are soft factors that really matters. The latter is clearly determined by the management quality and the strategy. Another factor that turns out to be relatively important is the business model. The impact that Markus has achieved in his very well-founded work is that he holds up the mirror to the professionals in the investment business and draws to their attention the fact and the developments that they know for sure, but they are too happy to ignore in order to comply with the supposed credo of rationality. It was for me a great pleasure to supervise Markus' doctoral thesis, and I'm also very pleased to see that his book, distributed via the publication series of the European Institute for Knowledge and Value Management, has already received a very strong response, not only in the German-speaking countries, but also in the USA and in some Asian countries. So congratulations, Markus, for your very, very good work. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to give the floor to the Professor Kian Bouzardi from iaelyon. So,
good afternoon, everybody.
oh, sorry.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kian Bouzardi, Professor at iaelyon, and I had the pleasure to be the supervisor of Martin Cross. Martin Cross developed, actually in his DBA research, a maturity model of the service orientation of organizations. The organizations he studied are financial institutions in Luxembourg, and he focused his research on IT service providers. He first conducted an in-depth qualitative studies, and he interviewed 15 managers of IT service provider that has some results. First, confirmed the importance of the service orientation of their organization, confirmed the extended use of the iaelyon model that is very well known in the field, and also the large difficulties the organization had in the implementation of the iaelyon model. And finally, this first preliminary qualitative study revealed the necessity of the development of a model of maturity of the service orientation. So based on his expertise, the literature and the results of this preliminary study, he then developed what he called the AWESOME model, AWESOME for Organizational Service Orientation Maturity Model, that is not only centered on the internal processes of the organization, but also include customer and users to evaluate the maturity. The model is formally a questionnaire that covers 37 aspects of 3 external domains and 41 aspects of 5 internal domains. he applied his model on 13 organizations in Luxembourg by conducting 80 face-to-face interviews, and he analyzed the profile of this organization based on his model. Martin, you have worked a lot to do your DBA, to develop your research, and until the very end also, to respond to the comments you received. And I really think that all the process improved a lot, your contribution. And I really want to congratulate you, Martin, for the choice of your subject and also your DBA thesis that is really very interesting on the academic perspective, but has also lots of managerial implications. So thank you, congratulations for that.
Thank you very much, Professor Gudarzi, and I might as well say it was an arduous work, but thank you very much to all of the BSI team and iaelyon team, because it was a really good support for us to be able to achieve this very difficult task. I'm very proud to have achieved it. Thank you very much to all.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Martin. So now I'm going to give the floor to Thomas, Professor Thomas Gergen.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Yes.
Slide, please.
Yes. So we are going to Murat Erzabeci. Can we have the slide, please?
We try.
Yeah, okay. So my heartily welcome to Murat in Berlin, Murat Erzabeci, now Dr. Murat Erzabeci. And it was a very intensive time for us all to begin the new German-speaking cohort, as Anne said at the beginning, to build up the German group. And Murat Erzabeci, who has passed the master in Germany, and we have worked together already in the Technical University in Kaiserslautern. And now he's a doctor. And this doctorship is based on work in the legal terms. So business law has now its place in the Business Science Institute, and I'm very proud to say that as a lawyer, that we have business law topics, tax legal topics among the disciplines in the management canon of matters. And the work of Dr. Murat Erzabeci deals with Einführung der EU-Datenschutzgrundverordnung, Auswirkungen und Handlungsempfehlungen für die Unternehmensbereiche, Geschäftsleitung, Personal sowie Informationstechnologie. So a very long title, but conspicuously well improved and researched. It is not only an introduction in the very confusing data protection regulation, so it comes from EU law, so it's a deep it's a ground regulation. We know all about that and the implementation in the different countries. And Dr. Murat Erzabeci gives us an introduction, of course, and he sums up all the literature, who's very, very numerous, but he has worked it very well and has concentrated all the most important literature. And he's developing all the aspects who are important for, not for the lawyers, not only for the lawyers, but above all for those who are leading, so the managers. So the transposition of a legal work into the management practice, the personal practice. And I can sum up, it's the Magna Carta of the data protection regulation, and above all in the topic and in the area of parking space companies who are in the middle of the interest. And so congratulations to this very deep-going, conspicuously well-researched work, and who has been published as well, and with a good reception in the legal and the practice world. So in the series of publication of the European Institute of Knowledge and Value Management, we can find in Luxembourg. So it's published, and congratulations, dear Dr. Murat Erzabeci, for your thesis.
Thank you very much. So now, as the Professor Marielle Audrey-Payot can't be here today, I'm going to let the floor to Professor Michel Kalika to present the next PhD students.
Yes, my colleague could not be here today, and it's a pleasure for me to present the thesis of Dr. Fangio. It's a pleasure for different reasons. The first one is that this thesis obtained the DBA Impact Award. It means that it is a thesis that has been recognized for the importance of its managerial impact. Dr. Fangio is from Cameroon, but he has been working in Guinea, in the case of the Republic of Guinea. The title of the thesis in French was comment la gestion participative et auto-centrée sur les communautés bénéficiaires des structures de microfinance peut-elle contribuer à la réduction de la pauvreté, le cas de la République de Guinée. Of course, you have understood that the subject is about microfinance. And of course, we appreciate this topic because it seems for us very important that our DBA students are working on subject in a relation with the big challenge that our society face. And we know that more than 50% of the subject of the thesis are related to the Sustainable Development Goal of United Nations. And Dr. Fangio is one of them. The thesis was based on a qualitative methodology, on case study realized in some community in Guinea. And I must say that what is very important in this thesis is, of course, the fact that the subject is embedded, strongly embedded in a specific field. But there is another point that seems very important. It is that at the end of the thesis, Dr. Fangio was able to make managerial recommendation to improve the management of microfinance in this kind of country. That's why I would like to congratulate Dr. Fangio. Even if I was not the supervisor, I would like to be the supervisor of such a thesis. Congratulations, Dr. Fangio.
Congratulations. So now, Professor Jean-Pierre Elfer.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the slide with Bernard Goumou. Just arriving. Not yet. Yes, we are here. So, hello everyone. We stay in Guinea. So, happy and proud. Look, happy because as soon as I can wear my academic gown, I'm really happy. But I'm proud too because I've been the supervisor of Bernard Goumou, and Bernard Goumou, to work with Bernard, it was really a great pleasure for me. And so it's why today I'm happy and proud. Certainly, Dr. Bernard Goumou's thesis fits very perfectly with the standards of DBA, DBA in general, and a BSI DBA and iaelyon DBA. Why? Because finally, in the thesis, in Bernard's thesis, we can find a professional issue, an academic issue. We find a field, a country, a methodology, very strict, some recommendations, and certainly an impact. The professional issue is insurance. Bernard Goumou is working in insurance. He is one of the head of Guinea sector, of insurance sector in Guinea. And the professional issue was how we can give some values to farmers, because at that time farmers no insurance on that. It was really not only an emerging sector; it was a sector not existing. The field was Guinea, as the previous thesis. Guinea. So Guinea. We know that it's an emerging country, very interesting, with a lot of, finally, there is only one Guinea, there are many Guineas, because with the weather, with the specific localizations in the country, we have some Guineas, and farmers are very, very different. A methodology, and Bernard used a quantitative methodology. Wow, quantitative with thousands or more than 1,000 of farmers. Whoa, it's a little bit difficult, because farmers, to ask them some questions very, very clear. So not so easy, but Bernard did that very absolutely perfectly. Recommendations. Finally, recommendations are there. And Bernard Goumou said that finally, not all the risks should be covered, because sanitary risk, economic risk, weather risk, human risk, and finally, some risks it would be better for insurance companies to cover some specific risks. It is recommendations, and certainly an impact. An impact on what? Perhaps an impact on this economic sector for companies, insurance companies in Guinea. And I'm sure that the business of Bernard Goumou will increase, will improve, and perhaps for his company, but for other companies. And perhaps it can be a time, I don't know if it is in the standards for DBAs, but perhaps Bernard can imagine to pay a fee to BSC, a fee to iaelyon if his job is really better. No fee for the supervisor, because, you know, ethics and deontology are absolutely in the heart of the supervisor. So Bernard, it was really a so great pleasure to work with you during all these years, not only because there is no time difference between Conakry and Paris, only 1 hour or 2 hours if it is in winter or in summer, but it was really great pleasure, because usually you listen to my recommendations, but I can congratulate you not only because you were very, very close to my recommendations, no, because Bernard, you did a great job, and frankly, congratulations.
So now I'm gonna let the floor to Professor Nathalie Mitteff. No, it's not Marielle Paillot. We are sorry about this. Okay.
That's it. Hello, everybody. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes. So it is my great pleasure to briefly talk about David. David is our first graduate doctor on the English online version of the BSI DBA. So he's a very special case. And his area was entrepreneurial education. So he concentrated on, he was interested in entrepreneurial skills, personality traits, with respect to entrepreneurial potential, capacity, and intention to launch a business. That was his focus. He, based on a very systematic, extensive synthesis of existing theoretical models. He built a large-scale questionnaire survey with 1,500 students in 24 American universities, followed up by qualitative, in-depth interviews. And one of his major focus results was to include ethnic background and gender in those models. So he suggested elements in connection to those models to improve them. He also made recommendations for design of entrepreneurial education, which naturally led to him now working for the Africa Business School in Morocco, where he's setting up an entrepreneurial education program, as well as being involved in doctoral education. He was fantastic to supervise. He's extremely systematic, methodological, highly motivated. So it was extremely enjoyable. And he also progressively became almost, now he's more of a colleague than a student. In effect, he did offer informal mentoring to his co-students on the online English course. And he's now doing it on a more formal basis with BSI with great success. So thank you very much, David, for your contribution and ongoing contribution to BSI work.
Thank you, Professor Mitef. Professor Kalika.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Professor Chalus-Sauvanet. Yes, it's time now to talk about the thesis of Dr. Constantin Yen. I've been glad to supervise this thesis after Professor Birahim Gay, who was the first supervisor. And I was very proud to supervise this thesis on a subject that is also related to sustainable development goals. Indeed, the subject of the thesis in French is La pérennité des ONG locales au Sénégal. And of course, you understood that it is an important subject. And it's also a subject for which the data collection is quite difficult to manage. And maybe the main quality of Dr. Yen was to be able to collect data on a non-for-profit local organization and to be able to formulate a recommendation for the improvement of the management of this organization and also for the improvement of the impact of this kind of organization. So that's why I can say that this defense was for me and also, of course, for Dr. Yen, but also for this non-for-profit local organization, an important moment, an important time. And I would like to congratulate Dr. Constantin Yen to have been able to go to the end of the process. It was not always very easy, but he presented its thesis in front of a jury, and the jury appreciated the work done. So congratulations, Dr. Constantin Yen. I wish you the best for the future, and I think that your thesis, on your thesis, you can create really an impact and communicate on this impact among non-for-profit organizations. Good luck for the future, and congratulations again.
Oh. Thank you. Luxembourg Group is Professor André Reuter.
Yes, Jens Höllermann focuses his analysis on sustainability and responsibility in society as well as in the industry. Companies have entered in the last years social responsibilities into their business model as a form of self-regulation. And the way companies invest today has led to socially responsible investments. Environment, social, and governance issues are all in some way in the focus, so that the question arises, what exactly to turn our attention on? What have private equity and other alternative asset classes achieved so far? What do they claim and what are they really doing? What is the difference between the various players in the market? That was the job Jens did, and he did it very, very well. Jens did a very comprehensive work and research on no fewer than 170 companies, which make up 76.2% of the world's total alternative wealth. His thesis shows that alternative managers in Australia and Europe do much better than the ones in China and North America, and that bigger firms are more advanced than smaller ones. The infrastructure asset class is more affine for environment, social, and governance themes than others. And asset managers who invest more in than in just one single asset are better placed. I am sure that the impact of Jens' works is very obvious. I am also convinced that his analysis will quickly become a standard work of scientific and practical issues in the alternative investment industry. This is also shown by the success he has in the publication series of the European University and also European Institute for Knowledge and Value Management. There are numerous downloads from his work from USA, Brazil, England, Sweden, India, and even Russia and Malaysia, and of course also from Germany. Working with Jens has for me been a real enrichment, and the professional and private exchange revealed many opportunities for further research projects. Very, very good, Jens. I'm very happy. Congratulations and good luck for your future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Reuter.
Okay, so now Professor Kalika for Professor Mariette Bayot.
Yes, again, but first of all, I will come back on the thesis of Dr. Hollermann and just mention that he obtained also the prize, the DBA Impact Managerial Impact Award, and I would like to congratulate him about that. Again, I take the place of my colleague, Professor Bayot, who couldn't be here today, to congratulate Didier Moeva thesis. She was a supervisor of these doctoral students. Dr. Moeva is coming from Congo, if I'm right, and is working in Europe, in Paris, in an international organization that is working on the field of the development of the French language and French culture. For confidential reason, we don't give the name of this big organization. This organization has been an opportunity for him to collect data. Of course, all these data are confidential. The subject of the thesis was, in French, le rôle stratégique de la facilitation proactive pour les managers d'interface. It means that Dr. Moeva had been working very deeply on organizational issue and on the management of big international organizations that have to manage relationship between different entities. its approach was mainly, of course, we can imagine that knowing the supervisor, a qualitative approach based on a constructivist and qualitative approach. And it was mainly a case study. I must highlight the fact that Dr. Mueva published recently in a book in the EMS collection online and on a paper version. It's a short version of its thesis. And so it contributed to the dissemination of the result of its thesis. And of course, it contributed to the generation of impact, of managerial impact. I am sure that its thesis had a great personal impact on him, but also on the management of international organization. So Dr. Mueva, all my congratulations for this DBA thesis and for your degree from iaelyon, School of Management, University Lyon 3. Congratulations.
Merci beaucoup.
So now I'm happy to let the floor to Professor Françoise Chevalier, Dakar Group.
Okay. So I'm Professor Françoise Chevalier here from HEC Paris, and I did supervise Leopold Nicu thesis. You are there, Leopold, so it's really nice to see you. Leopold did address a very crucial problem. He did address projects financed by the World Bank, which did not and still do not reach their goals. And more precisely, Leopold studied projects dedicated to fight AIDS in Africa, in Ivory Coast. Why do these projects do not reach their goals? That was the key research questions. In terms of methodology, Leopold did articulate qualitative and quantitative phases. And Leopold, as a project manager for the World Bank, you were able to obtain rich material from the bank. In terms of results, the research shows how much team members are not really involved in these projects and the reasons for this lack of involvement. As far as managerial implications are concerned, Leopold underlined 5 points in his DBA thesis. Among these points, regular supervision and coaching, transparent validation, confidence in the organization, the mode of financing, all these points were addressed and lead to consequent managerial implications deeply rooted in a very specific context. Managerial implications for the management and performance of projects financed by the bank, the World Bank in Africa and Ivory Coast. Now, apart from this summary of your work, Leopold, I would like to stress a few points. Having worked with you during 4 years in a row, it was a great opportunity to get to know each other much better. And I would like to outline Leopold's human qualities. It was a pleasure to work with you, Leopold. And during this DBA journey, you revealed your personal richness, patience, motivation, hardworking, willing to learn and improve and build on your previous experiences. And a research journey is not an easy one. We had to escalate ups and downs, ups
and arms. And we did it together, and it required constancy, patience, determination, I mean, listening mindset, and you have all these qualities, Leopold. Our research journey was also punctuated with funny memories. So many good memories. The last one in Vils, so far from Abidjan, where we were lost somewhere in a very little railway station, not knowing where to go and how to go. And it was so, I mean, such good memories, which I really do think opened the way for further collaboration and friendship. And last but not least, I mean, the DBA and BSI are dedicated to the creation of knowledge by managers, okay? Knowledge, it's a concern, an issue for managers, for academic, for professors, but not only. It's also an issue for poets, for artists. And I tried to find a quote for you, Leopold, and I did find a quote by a very famous artist and poet, English one, William Blake, and he said, "Knowledge is life with wings." I like to offer you this quote, Leopold. Congratulations.
Merci infiniment, cher professeur. Merci pour tout.
So now, Professor Thomas Gergen, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. Let us come to Holger Niemitz from the north of Germany, nearby Hamburg. Dr. Holger Niemitz is an independent tax counselor in the north of Germany, as I said. And thanks of Dr. Holger Niemitz, the tax law and the intellectual property law have arrived in the BSI and in the business as a part of business law. And continuing with that, what Françoise told us with the poets, so sein oder nicht sein, so Holger Niemitz evokes the Shakespeare's word of to be or not to be, sein oder nicht sein, but in that case it's not poetical, it's the hard and perhaps dry tax law, but it's not even so dry as we think about. It's very, it's tricky, but it's useful to know the hints and the tricks of that tax law. Sein oder nicht sein von Patentboxen in verschiedenen Ländern im Rechtsvergleich des Steuerberaters. So the tax counselor is the manager in the person of Dr. Holger Niemitz now, and the work deals with a comparison of first of all the definition of a patent box that is at the beginning, but then he does and he unfolds different countries and the regulations in those different countries. He picks up several a huge of countries and the regulations of the patent boxes there, and he puts the question with which is the better or the best of those regulations, and there is a necessity of hard work to develop the different regulations and to do a research on the sources, and then to do the synopsis of all the sources to come to this convincing result and the decision for the manager, which solution can we take and why. So that is the content of Dr. Holger Niemitz's tax legal work. And this work is also published in the series of publication of the European Institute of Knowledge and Value Management in Luxembourg, and has also a wide impact. Thank you and congratulations to Dr. Holger Niemitz. It was also a bright pleasure to work with you, and do continue with the patent boxes. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vielen Dank.
So we stay in Luxembourg with Professor André Reuter. It's not okay for us.
Yes, I'm ready to start as soon as we have the slide.
This is for you every time. Okay. It's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. The title of Maximilian Petty's doctoral thesis is Management von Freiwilligen in luxemburgischen Non-Profit-Organisationen, einige Empfehlungen für die Praxis, which means management of volunteers in Luxembourg non-private organization, some recommendation for the practice. There is hardly any newer literature on the subject and even less useful data, which made Max's work not easier. And he had some difficulties by the ministry not allowing him to have his survey done in classes in Luxembourg. Nevertheless, Max managed to close this knowledge gap with the help of some case studies and interviews. The NGOs in Luxembourg use professional management tools. However, they don't record key figures in order to better control the volunteers and to communicate more efficiently with them. Max Petty suggested a number of recommendations for improvements for the management of NGOs, and that's provided the decision makers with direct practical support. This gives evidence of a relevant and valuable impact. Like Markus Bäumer and Jens Höllemann, and later on Ulrike Wiesetum, Maximilian is very successful with his book, published in the series of the European Institute of Knowledge and Value Management. And I'm very happy that we have a large number of downloads in the last months coming from all over the world. I was really happy to supervise Max's thesis, and it was a great pleasure for me to see how the delicate plant of a research question gradually turned into a highly valuable research paper. Congratulations, Max, and good luck for you for your private and professional future. Thank you very much.
So, as Professor Klaus and Liat are not here, Professor Kalika, would you please?
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Chelus-Sauvanet. Yes, my colleague, Professor Liarte, is teaching this afternoon, so he couldn't be with us, and I have the pleasure to replace him. Professor Liarte was one of the supervisors with Dr. Klaus of Mrs. Pod, Dr. Pod. The subject of the thesis, Dr. Pod, is not here today, apparently. I'm sorry about that, because she was one of the students who sent me a lot of messages about the partnership with iaelyon, and she was very anxious, and so she could see today that there is a reality in this partnership. The title of the thesis was From Business Hibernation to Regional Cooperation in the Western Balkans. Dr. Pod is Samira Pod-Hirsch is from Albania. She's living in Luxembourg, and she has been working on the SMEs in the Balkans. And the main purpose of her research was to explore if the regional economic initiative of cooperation is the right development tool for SMEs in both Albania and other countries in Western Balkan. And for that purpose, she did several questionnaires about the strengths of the private sector and the action of and the perception of the action by stakeholders. And so she was able to present her thesis in front of the jury and to obtain the degree from Business Science Institute and from iaelyon. I must say that for me, it's of course a pleasure to see a student that finished the thesis. It's one of our main objectives in Business Science Institute. It's not the registration of the students at the beginning, it is a defense of the thesis at the end. So congratulations.
So once again, Professor Chevalier, one of your PhD students.
Okay, thank you very much. I was very glad, to supervise Frédéric Rosière DBA research. Frédéric thesis focuses on emotional intelligence. The topic is widely researched and is also very much in the news. And it means that for a researcher, it has both advantages and disadvantages, because you have to find your own way addressing this very fashionable subject. And Frédéric made it. Congratulations, Frédéric. Your research question is the following. What are the effects of non-violent communication trainings on emotional intelligence? To address this question, Frédéric has conducted a deep and very detailed literature review, navigating in a jungle of references on the subject, being able to find his way and to summarize and contextualize literature, but also to offer a distance and critical reading of the literature. In terms of methodology, Frédéric has implemented a very sophisticated research design. The research design alternates qualitative and quantitative phases in a longitudinal perspective. In terms of results, Frédéric, you found expected but also unexpected and counterintuitive results. For instance, he showed that non-violent communication trainings develop a certain kind of self-empathy. People develop more assertiveness, more autonomy at work, and emotional independence. But, and it was unexpected, non-violent communication trainings had less impact on interpersonal relationships. In short, in brief, these trainings, they develop self-awareness, but they do not really improve interpersonal relationships. Quite surprising, because it goes against popular belief, for that matter. Now, leaving the research and having worked together during 4 years in a row with Skype, Teams, WhatsApp. We were not using Zoom at the time. I would like to outline some of human qualities. I mean, you are extremely curious and you have a wide range of interest and very hardworking, extremely active and dynamic, very entrepreneurial, and really your reactivity and enthusiasm made for an efficient and very pleasant collaboration. And during this research journey, I also discovered, Frédéric, that you are very stubborn. You were defending your ideas, very enthusiastic about emotional intelligence. Frédéric, you are stubborn, but so am I. So we were two very stubborn guys working together. And step by step, we did deconstruct some ready-to-wear, fashionable mental representation and ideas, meaning ideologies about emotional intelligence. And in our research journey, there were what I could call some crash test days. And, you know, finally, we both survived and we shared very funny and happy moments. The last one some weeks ago, I mean, very good moments and memories to build the future. The result is a DBA thesis which shows originality, contribution, and rigor. And now we are working together on papers for top international conferences. Last but not least, I would like to conclude, and I like to conclude trying to find a quote. I was looking for a quote for you. And finally, I found one by the English novelist Virginia Woolf, when she said, books are the mirror of the soul. And I have the feeling that your research thesis to some extent mirrors who you are. Congratulations, Frédéric.
Merci beaucoup, Françoise, pour votre accompagnement durant ces 4 années. Et thanks also to all professors within the Business Science Institute. And thank you also to the back office, Caroline, Catherine, Marie-Pierre, Frédéric und vor allem die Yasemin. Besten Dank für die Unterstützung. And I hope we will meet again. And as Professor Michel Kalika just mentioned, to drink and eat the specialties of Lyon. I look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Professor Thomas Gergen.
Yeah, thank you. So let's come to Mark Szewski, also coming from the north of Germany. And I want to underline that I would be glad if we had much more mayors. So he is Mayor, Bürgermeister in the north of Germany. We would have, I like that work, and I wish we had much more mayors like him. So he is mayor, he is elected, and he comes from the public administration, and he is a manager like this, coming from that Service Public, from the öffentlichen Dienst. So he had a mission to accomplish, and he is tackling a problem coming from that administration, and he tackles a legal tax problem, Besteuerung juristischer Personen des öffentlichen Rechts am Beispiel der Gemeinde Hilter am Teutoburger Wald unter besonderer Berücksichtigung des Paragraphen 2b Umsatzsteuergesetz. So very legal and condensed title, complicated, dry. I mean, that's obvious, but it's not dry. It's it has a life in it. And Dr. Markszewski tackles that problem, and he unfolds all the content of the novelties of that changement in the German tax law coming from European law, and he has to tackle it. So he cannot find another solution, and he leads us among those challenges and gives recommendations to his own administrations, so Hilter in the Teutoburger Wald. And what's more, he is a model for all his colleagues. So he is able to demonstrate a very good solution found in his own community, municipality, and to convince the others, the neighbors, who have the same problem in their administrative practice. So congratulations to Dr. Markszewski, and thank you to have found that problem and to give us some more solutions for the changements we have to implement in the public law. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I need to let the floor to Professor Florence Laval.
Thank you. I feel very happy to be online with you. This graduation ceremony is a very important event for doctors, but also for thesis supervisor. I am going to present the doctoral research in management of Moussa Sow. Moussa Sow has several years of experience in the field studied. Now he is a manager researcher, and he combines his scientific knowledge to his existing competence in management. The title of his thesis is Le management et la cohésion familiale des exploitations agricoles familiales, zone de Ndegbu, à l'Office du Niger. It's located in Mali. This research focuses both on management and on family cohesion of farms. His scientific knowledge comes through an ethnography studies of family farms. It's a qualitative methodology which enables the descriptive and the analytical study of custom behavior of specific populations like family farmers. 30 family heads and farm managers have been studied. They are from 3 ethnic groups, Mossi, Bambara, and Peul. Moussa Sow shows that small family farms need to be placed at the heart of the development process because people are dependent on family farming. 98% of farms are family-owned and worked. Moussa Sow highlights performance factors and weaknesses. First, family cohesion, but also individual technical skills and resilience are performance factors. Weaknesses is insufficient equipment and materials and generational transmission. Finally, Moussa Sow made recommendations for 3 types of actions: for farmers, for local institutions, Office du Niger, and for government. It was a great pleasure to supervise this work. I really appreciate Moussa Sow's great human qualities, his patience, his listening skills, and his quick thinking, and his ability to carry out his work. However, the ethnographic work is remarkable, while access to the field was so difficult. So, congratulations, Moussa.
So now the Paris group with Professor Khadija Al-Arkoubi.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I am so excited to be here, and it's such an honor and a pleasure to actually present and introduce the work of Dr. Fadwa Tahari. Dr. Tahari is a certified public accountant, an expert in auditing. She is a director of consolidation and compliance, and she is the executive committee member of the holding Finance Com, and she is originally from Morocco. Despite of this background, she got so interested in leadership and management and how we can improve soft skills in the Moroccan context. So her dissertation topic was business leadership in Moroccan companies, the impact of the national culture. This is such complex topic since there is scarcity of research about Morocco. So she asked herself in this dissertation, what would be the cultural dimensions of that influence Moroccan leadership styles in business organizations? And what are the specificities of leadership in the Moroccan context? To answer these questions, she adopted a multidisciplinary approach to the literature that's available, looking into the Western literature and also the Middle Eastern, North African, and Moroccan literature. She followed a very rigorous methodology. It was a qualitative methodology based on an autobiography and also an autoethnography, and also deep interviews based on storytelling. The Moroccan culture is characterized by the oral tradition. That's why she used these methods. There were many findings, but I'm going to pick the prominent ones. So she found out that the Moroccan culture is evolving, but there are tensions between modernism and tradition. So we do still have key, for instance, family and religion have a key place in the Moroccan culture, and those influence leadership and the perception of followers of the leader. She also found out that the values of integrity, generosity, collectivism clash sometimes with individualism, competition, and self-interest. In the midst of these tensions, how are we going to look at leadership styles? So she found out that there are three main leadership styles. The first one is the paternalistic style. So the leader is the father figure, is supposed to be generous but powerful, but also followers have to be on the other side. They have to be obedient and respectful. Also, she found out that the leader is the master, and here we really are looking into leadership from a sacred perspective, what we call in Arabic sheikh, really insinuating and taking this perception to the Sufism. So in this case, the leader is the teacher, the facilitator, someone who is competent, has the power, driven by that power, but also is really giving insights to followers, and followers are supposed also in this case to be highly respectful of that authority. And finally, the third is the leader who is supported by followers, who can only keep power if those followers are closely supporting him or her, are closely collaborating with the leader. Some implications, managerial implications, I will focus again on 2 or 3. She had many in her dissertation. So what would be the impact or her contribution? First of all, the implications for business organizations in Morocco. There is a need for lots of training not the classical training that we know about, but really the need for mentorship and mentoring programs where leaders and followers could meet and talk and discuss leadership styles from the Moroccan perspective, creating platforms in the workplace where storytelling could find its place because we are in an oral culture where both leaders from different organizations and followers could exchange, but also platforms where managers, practitioners, and academics could meet and exchange and find ways where they can actually promote the perspective, the Moroccan perspective of leadership. The other major managerial implication is really the impact of this research on academic institutions. What can academic institutions do in this case? And her recommendation was really to develop leadership curricula that are respectful to the specific context of Morocco, and also start collaborating with practitioners and bringing practitioners to academic institutions to talk to students about leadership from a Moroccan perspective. Now, let me tell you that it was a fascinating journey to work with Fedwa Tahari. Fedwa is a lifelong learner. She is very curious. Her inquisitiveness is very high. Her analytical skills are very high, very much organized. I've never seen such organizational skills in anybody I worked with before, including my students here in the US. And she is also perseverant, always proactive. I'm looking forward to seeing her work published. I know she is finalizing now her book. I'm also working with her on a paper at this time. She is not the only one who is learning from me. I have learned from her a lot, and throughout our exchanges are of social nature and also academic nature. I won a colleague and a friend. I'm so proud of her. One thing I should say about her, she enjoys literary writing. She writes short stories in Arabic. She is excellent in French, but she also writes in Arabic. So Fedwa, I am truly proud of you. I am here to celebrate with you and also all my colleagues on this platform. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Khadija. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, BAC, and thank you, iaelyon. It was a hard but rich journey, and I'm proud of it. I congratulate all the colleagues. It is a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Professor Al-Arkubi, for joining us from the States.
You're welcome.
Now, I let the floor to Professor Jean-Pierre Bengozi.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, it's Pierre-Jean, but it's not so good at the end of the day. Yes, I'm very glad, like most part of my colleagues and all my colleagues actually, not because it's the end of the journey and at the end of a doctoral thesis, the supervisor is glad because his job is finished, but mainly because this event and this thesis consists for Amadou Tall in a real reward for a good journey and the production and valuable and useful result. So it's a pleasure when we have some really interesting element at the end of the day. The context and the origin of this, the thesis of Amadou Tall rely on the discovery of unexpected energy resource in Senegal. While most part of the value in such case would and should be captured by large companies due to the huge technological investments, Amadou aims to understand how the gap in finance in Senegalese small and medium enterprise can be overcome in order to boost their competitiveness and help them in turn to take the opportunity entering the oil and gas value chain and participating to a growing ecosystem related to these discoveries. And it's an important topic and issue because it refers to both public policy issues, how to ensure the effective inclusion of Senegal local companies in the exploitation of the new resources, and how to use these resources to revitalize the private sector. But it refers also to a managerial strategy and small and medium company strategy, in which extent managers and companies are able to size the opportunity and the resources thus created or discovered in order to support their growth and development. And of course, this question is important not only for the Senegal, but it's relevant to the economic development of small and medium companies in general. And in the conduct of his research, I particularly appreciated the way and the concern of Amadou to combine the views and approaches by crossing focus group, gathering expert and finance practitioners in order to identify the main issue at stake, in-depth case study supported by a company he knows very well because he worked with it, and a large-scale survey by questionnaire without hesitating to do a great deal of work to build up an original database that supports the work with a panel of 2,292 companies, just to be precise, out of the 400,000 existing in Senegal. And this combination of focus group, in-depth case study, and large survey, this combination of perspective helps to give depth to the finding and the volume of trends by bringing forward original and even unexpected results, which is what we can expect from a doctoral thesis. These results are, for instance, concern, for instance, the relative effect of education of the manager on the performance and the capacity of the company to raise money, the positive influence of the skilled personnel, staff, the decisive effect of the age of the company on its capacity to raise funds, and on the contrary, no effect at all of the legal regime of the company and other results like the key role of the institutional support. And these results are interesting from my viewpoint because they make sense from managerial as well as a theoretical level. As a matter of fact, the observation that the level of the education of the manager and the qualification of the employees have an influence on the access to finance, which seems obvious a posteriori, excuse me, is not necessarily, on the contrary, put forward in the literature that stand to compartmentalize the human resource creation of management and the approach in terms of corporate finance. So I think that from this viewpoint, some of the results of Amadou Tall are really interesting from the understanding of small and medium strategy and entrepreneurship. Being an executive DBA, the thesis expresses also a rare quality of the managerial implication it supports. This implication reflects on the part of Amadou Tall a concern to recontextualize his results by explicitly distinguishing the different nature of this implication according to each type of actor potentially targeted, the leader and the manager of the company, or the public officer, for example. This implication and managerial implication are also interesting, and they highlight more particularly the provision and the requirement for qualified information, the importance to develop and institutionalize specifically partnership strategy, institutional support, joint venture, subcontract on one part, and on the other part, and addressing the public policy, this implication underlines the role of the adjustment and the support of training and education, the key role of the public commissioning policy, and the structuring of industrial cluster. So as a conclusion, Amadou Tall was and is a specialist in finance with a large international experience in Africa, in the United States, in Dubai. Like all the executive doctors, he's a hard worker because he has, as most part of you, to reconcile the personal, the professional, and the academic life. It was not only easy. It was not only easy to discuss together with such distance, and it was not easy to find a good schedule when we have 8 hours of a jet lag between Washington and Paris, or between Dubai and Paris. So it's just but part of the business of the supervisor. But at the end of the day, we always succeed to work very well. He's very careful to listen to the advice and to recommendation. So I'm really, and turn back to my first word, I'm really glad and very pleased to have this, to see the end of this journey and to see the diplomation of Amadou. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Congratulations. So now Professor André Reuter.
Okay. Yes. It was very challenging for me as president of a university for digital technologies in medicine and dentistry to supervise the work of Ulrike Wissetum, because she combines dentistry to sales and marketing, and before all, to intangible assets and goals. Ulrike's approach seems to me very ideal for a part-time postgraduate doctorate. It is closely related to her profession, addresses discourses area with great development potential, and offers plenty of spaces for research and innovation. The theme, immaterielle Ressourcen, Basis der Wertschöpfung im Gesundheitswesen, eine quantitative Analyse, gezeigt am Beispiel einer antimikrobiellen photodynamischen Therapie in der Zahnmedizin, which means intangible resources, the basis of value creation in healthcare. A quantitative analysis using the example of an antimicrobial photodynamic therapy in dentistry. On the one hand, new products and new ideas in medicine must be safe with regard to possible side effects. We see that for a moment also by the vaccine of COVID-19. And it must deliver or provide the evidence of clinical effectiveness. On the other hand, their use must be worthwhile. So we have two main aspects: evidence-based medicine and value-based medicine. And these two are not always working in the same direction. As a sales professional, Ulrike knows from her own experience that the physical product, which is optical and functional properties, plays an important role in selling technical innovations. But however, this is true also for intangible factors and assets, such as, for example, the image and branding of a company, as well as the screening and demonstration of technical and social advantages via marketing and sales channel. Obviously, the influence of human and relation capital, as well as cultural and organizational structural values, are important for the market success of an innovation. The proven therapeutic and economic benefit generated by a new product must be very convincing and motivating. Therefore, the challenge for providers is therefore to build trust and convince their target market of these benefits through an adapted, structured, and interactive communication process. Ulrike Wissetum discussed and covered the whole breadth of the topic very comprehensively. For me personally, it was a great pleasure to work with her because she approached alternative solutions with good ideas and much power to put them up for discussion. In doing so, she combined female intuition with scientific rigor to an excellent result. Her book was internationally distributed, like these of the other colleagues, by the European Institute for Knowledge and Value Management, and had until now a very sustained worldwide success, with a lot of downloads in the last few months. Congratulations, Ulrike. It was a great pleasure to supervise your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, André. Thank you, the whole organization team. It was a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you. And now I'm really happy to let the floor to Professor Ulrike Mayhofer.
Good afternoon. So my name is Ulrike Mayhofer and I'm a professor of international business at Université Côte d'Azur. It's a pleasure to supervise the EDBA thesis of Jawad Zoghar. So who is Jawad Zoghar? He is the CEO of several small and medium-sized companies in the field of motorcycles and spare parts in Morocco. And he defended his executive doctorate in business administration on key success factors for the international development of Moroccan SMEs. His work is based on the framework of the Uppsala model and born-again globals. Jawad used a qualitative approach based mainly on interviews and analyzed the international expansion of 15 traditional SMEs in Morocco. The main key success factors identified are the following: the appropriate choice of the target country and the market entry mode, the personality and the network of the SME manager, the way companies manage their relationships with public authorities. One of the major recommendations is that traditional SMEs should follow the path of born-again globals by focusing on innovation and accelerating the speed of their international development. I would like to congratulate Jawad for the completion of his EDBA thesis. I think that this was an amazing journey for you, and it was challenging to work as a CEO while preparing your thesis. You were very successful in building the bridge between the academic and managerial worlds, and your EDBA thesis will surely have a strong impact. I know that you will implement the novel findings in your companies and also share your knowledge with other SME managers. So thank you for this great collaboration and congratulations.
Thank you very much to all of you. Professor Kalikat,
Thank you, Professor. It was a great journey. It was a very interesting 3 years we spent together with the high added value. Thank you for all the staff of BSI and iaelyon. And thank you very much. It's a special day and a great day. Thank you.
I think it's nearly perfect. Thank you to all of you. Merci à vous tous, à tous les doctorants, à tous les professeurs d'avoir été parmi nous. Thank you to all of you for being here today. Thank you to the organizer in iaelyon. Thank you, Professor Chalus-Sauvanet. It was really a great time, and it was really a great pleasure for everybody. Bye-bye.
Au revoir, merci.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you soon, face-to-face, maybe in Luxembourg, maybe in Lyon, or somewhere in the world.